Hi and welcome to Stories and Stuff. Today I'm going to be talking about the Lilac books that children bring home at the start of reception. Here is just a selection of the Lilac books that children bring home. The Lilac refers to a reading level. So children start on lilac, then they go on to pink, then red, and it moves up through the book bands depending on where they are in their phonics as well. The Lilac books are great because they don't have any words in, apart from the information on the front cover. And that's great because children don't need to get hung up on trying to read or sound out or recognise any tricky words. They're really valuable for teaching quite a few skills, and I'm going to run through those now. We want children very early on to learn that pictures in books are really useful, that they're there to help you understand the story, or in the case of a non-fiction book, to understand a bit more about the subject matter. One of the great things about Lilac books is there's no distraction with words, so children can really concentrate on the pictures. This is really important because pictures are really useful all the way through learning to read. Even when children have got quite a good repertoire of tricky words that they just know, and even when they're very good at sounding out, the pictures are still really useful, especially when they get stuck on a word that they don't know. The other benefit about Lilac books is it doesn't have to be really oversimplified like the very early reading books that children bring home. So there can be quite complicated stories. It's good for developing vocabulary, and children aren't held back by the words they can or can't read. So if you take this book, for example, a really well-known story, it's very unlikely children would read a book with the words Goldilocks and bears and porridge until they're quite far up the book bands. So you can already start to expand their vocabulary with these books, even though there's no words in them. You can use the Lilac books to make predictions. So if you take a look at this book, My Friend Joe, you can talk about the characters that you can see. Which one is Joe? How do you know? And start to encourage guessing, even if it doesn't turn out to be the right answer. Children are often quite reluctant to make predictions because they focus on getting the answer right. So it's great for you to model making predictions that don't turn out to be right, and then you can talk about, well, that's okay, that was a really good guess. It's not what happened in this story, but that's what predictions are, they're just careful guesses. And then if you look at the blurb on the back of this one, it says, will I find a friend to play with? So you could start to talk about, well, who's I? Who's talking? Who's asking that question? What do they want to find? What do you think this book could be about? You can also have some fun with these books by creating dialogue. So there's no speaking, no words, but you could talk about, right, what do you think this cat would say, and what's the dog going to say back to them? And finally, you can reflect about the book. So talk about whether you liked it or not, ask your child to find their favourite picture and explain why, and they're starting to express likes and dislikes, and it's all developing that language as well. So you can see with Lilac books there's all sorts of scope for learning lots of different skills about handling books, telling stories, empathising with characters, developing speech and language and vocabulary. I hope this video has been useful. Like and subscribe for more soon.